Hello, I am Billy Gu from Line Plus. I joined SET team in June last year, and since then, I have been managing build distribution system and automation related to Line Android client. Today, I want to share how we brought happiness by automating CI and CD. First, what is happiness that we are trying to find? You see short line messages here. These short messages in text. How can this bring happiness? I will tell you the answer at the end of the presentation. These are the messages being sent to users when Line Messenger client is distributed. It shares the progress on release, after release, and deployment in third market. These simple messages can bring happiness to PICs of release and colleagues in related parts. So by now, you probably have guessed the topic for today. It is about release automation. First, I will share the issues we had and how we solved the issues. Lastly, I'd like to make my closing remarks on necessity of automation. Then what issues did we have? Before I give you the answer, let's take a look at the development process. First, this is the development process. It probably is similar to what you know. Develop, build, QA, and release to the users. Let's take a closer look at today's topic, which is release. The first step in releasing Line Client starts by clicking the release button on the market. Next, we update version for monitoring client error. By setting this, if there are any errors in the released version, warning notifications are sent. With this, we can quickly find out if there are any error occurred in the new version and stop the release and prepare for a new version. Next, we notify the release status to PICs. This is directly linked to operation, so many PICs from related parts are interested in this step. Then we create git tag to track the history of developed source and update the source code to show the new version. And when it's 100% released to the users, we upload artifacts for third market and line.me to support new client. This also has to be shared in the channel with PICs and ends by notifying that it is completed. There are many cases and exceptions, but release task is mainly comprised of 7 steps. And we found 3 problems. First, each task was performed manually. Checking if release is going well, making sure that new version is not causing any errors to users, and perform these tasks manually. The manual work was a burden on release PICs and teams responding to customers because you had to be nervous all the time. Second, some tasks started to be missed out. There were some missing parts that we didn't realize before any errors or problems occurred. So this happened all the time. Lastly, adding tasks related to release was a big burden. We already had 7 tasks to perform. Then what happens if we have to add more tasks? Or if there was a change in PIC in that situation, then what happens? You probably know what will happen. Yes, the burden on the PIC increases. Now that we recognize the problem, we need to solve the problem. First, from alarm update of the error collection to third market distribution, we connected the tasks to be automatically performed sequentially. If released, each of the tasks are performed and alarm for completion is also automatically sent. Then when And how should these tasks be performed? Yes, it should be executed according to the distribution status in the market. However, there was one problem here. We were using intranet. In order to prevent attacks like hacking, we had to run it on internal network that blocks external access. So I created a task by using an open API in the market and polling to bring in data regularly to monitor the release status. By doing this, I was able to detect the status of distribution in the market in near real time. The manual tasks previously performed are configured and connected so that can be automatically executed at the same time as distribution in the market. And the advantage of this automation was that I can add new tasks without being stressed out. So we were able to add additional automation tasks such as updating related data or setting to CI system. And if it was already released in the market, we increased the number of code reviewers to help strengthen review policy when we're developing patch version. So now let's go back to the Messenger screen. Can you expect the happiness and impact of these messages? We were able to bring happiness through these messages. First, we could focus on the important tasks that we needed to perform. When release begins, release PIC quickly identifies errors, consult with related parts, and review whether to stop the release or not. Secondly, we were free of tasks that could have been missed out or repetitive work. Lastly, it had increased the trust of work. When people see these messages, they trust that these release tasks are being performed automatically and release is well underway. This is how we made people happy. Automation helped people to focus on their work, freed people from boring repetitive work, and build trust. This happiness was achieved through just a couple of lines through automation. Lastly, I've jotted down some thoughts why you need automation and maintain the process. Just as software grows, so does its surroundings. There are changes in the platform, library, and the system. For these changes, we need DevOps engineers and automation engineers. In addition to growing requirements, so does the complexity of the environment. Many roles are added or related systems or deployment tools get changed. In order to swiftly follow the complex environment, automation is necessary. So by automating CI and CD at Line, I will try my best to close the gap between developers and users and find new happiness. Today was more focused about the process, and if time allows for the next time, I will share the technologies we use for automation and my experience. Thank you.